Welcome back to Las Vegas. It's always nice to talk to an old friend, and Matt Goss is back here. He's still doing business, and it's so nice to see you again.
Lovely to see you too again, mate.
Listen, you look so well. You're doing such big business. You're so successful. You just come back from England where you did that great show at the Royal Albert Hall, which was tremendous. Has your life ever been more perfect in a sense that people are finally appreciating you for your voice?
I mean, it was phenomenal to go back to the UK this time and actually see the press write the words Matt Goss, not former Bros star, which is absurd to me. For me, you got to understand, like, it's quite strange. I was just in the White House last week, and I got a personal tour, and then another personal tour of the Pentagon, and they know nothing of my past, and they just know me now. And so I will say it is a relief in a way. I think Piers Morgan said to me, "Do you think they'll ever stop saying formally of?" And the last trip back, not one journalist said formally of, and I think that is a nice thing, because I'm a musician. If you cut my heart open, you'd feel music coming out of it. I love music with all my heart and soul. So yeah, it is an amazing place to be, just to be able to be considered a singer.
And you're a tremendous singer. I saw you about 18 months ago in the Gossy room, which is your own place here in Caesar's Palace. I mean, the most legendary hotel and casino in the world, really. And you have your own room, you have your own show. There's a class about you that really isn't the case in show business generally now. It seems like everything's about make as much money as you can, as quickly as you can, do as many reality TV shows as you can. You don't go in for any of that nonsense, do you? You make sure the show is good, of quality, and people come out having experienced an event.
I think for me, I think the true meanness of a show, if you can have no bells and whistles and just have your band that trusts you, my band trusts me, which is the biggest compliment. Is my mission is to have the trust of my peers on stage. And in regards to having class, first of all, thank you. But I was raised very well. We were raised from a very simple family. I'm a South East London boy, which I'm very proud of, still born in Lewisham Hospital. But it doesn't mean because we grew up with nothing. I know I've been lucky enough to be around the finer things in life. Again, going back to the White House, as I was telling you before, like every single detail that I wear, whether it be my tie-pin or my cufflinks or my Palzilleri tuxedo, my tuxedo watch, whatever, my Patek, anything. There's everything that I have, that I wear. I enjoy the ceremony, and I think that there's a tremendous amount of ceremony that men especially can have that we don't take advantage of. There's some, and I think that I'm also a Brit, so when I travel abroad, I get a strange internal sense. Being a royalist, I want to represent my country and my upbringing and my beautiful island wherever I go. And I also love America, and I feel more comfortable being enveloped with civility.
Do you also pinch yourself that you're able to buy the watch that you talk about and the incredible tuxedo? Because these things don't come cheap. You're a guy from London who, let's face it, could have disappeared like most other stars from your generation. I mean, how many of them are still here? It's a two-part question. One, is that ever normal when you're able to buy that watch? And secondly, do you still pinch yourself that you're still here, you're still current, and most importantly, relevant?
I think that I don't think I'll ever be used to the finer things, actually being able to get them. First of all, I will say Palzilleri were kind enough to give me my tuxedos, because they know I love their brand, but there is a lot of that as well. But certainly you don't get these kind of watches and stuff like that. It used to mean a lot more to me than it does now. I think really what matters to me now is my health. Truly, I mean, I want nothing this year except good health. Then everything else, then I want to be able to sing as much as I can, and then if I'm able to have things, I don't think you should ever feel ashamed about enjoying the finer things in life, but I think categorically should never be the center of your universe. I think if you chase possessions, you won't have them. I've done that before in my life, and they meant more to me, but really the safety of my family and the safety of my mum is far supersedes anything that I can buy myself.
You talk about your physical health, but of course mental health is more important in show business. Through the years, through the ups and downs, to come out the other side and still have a balanced perspective must be one of the most difficult things. Because I talked to you earlier before we started the interview about longevity. It is a long-term game, isn't it? Because having 2 years of being the biggest star and then nothing leaves you nowhere.
Yeah, I said this back when I was a teenager, like literally when I was 17. They said, "What do you want?" I said, "I just want to still be doing this when I'm 40," and I'm 40 now, and I'm still doing it. And I think that I'll stick to this statement. Success to me is longevity. You can have a #1 record, literally, and then that will be that could end. Unfortunately, I've seen people tell a story where they had a hit in 1970 or 1980 or 1990. Or 2000, even 5 years ago, and that's their story. I mean it in a very respectful way. I'll sit in a hotel bar or in a lounge, and I'll see a musician at a piano singing or playing for me. I'll always, and Robin actually will tell you, will always clap, because that to me is really puts us all to shame, because that man really is there. He's not there for the money. He's there because of his love of music. So I was at the Savoy recently, and the Dorchester, and I sang with somebody on the piano, and to me, just because I wanted to be in the presence of that man's a king to me. That guy playing the piano is one of my kings, because he shows me that he's sitting there for the love of music. So I think you have to have presence of mind and humility, because who knows, man? You never know. So if I can be proud of how I live my life and be inspired by those kind of musicians, obviously I have great musicians like Stevie Wonder, and that in a way taught me how to sing. But when I sit in a bar and I see a piano player entertaining us sometimes to no applause, I get my blood boils.
When we look at your career, it's been so fascinating how you started doing pop, and of course you had all the girls who absolutely idolised you, the posters in the bedroom, and they thought you were marvellous and all this. And now you're singing sort of standards here at Caesars, and on the billboard it says the British Frank Sinatra, that's how good they rate you. You don't pick your type of music.
Someone said that.
Yeah, they did, and I think they meant it, and it was nice of them to say it, because they don't say many nice things, do they really?
I always try and stay clear, but when an iconic... The Sun's an institution. The Sun is as famous as fish and chips in the UK, so why wouldn't I put that? I actually use it on my billboard, and it's not because I think that on any level I'm Sinatra, but I think false modesty is like arrogance in a way. If somebody says something good about me, I have to be man enough, or as my mum would say, big enough and ugly enough to accept the compliment. So if that's what they're saying, then I'm profoundly grateful and humbled by that, but at the same time I also still, if that's okay to say this, I still want to transcend every single singer that I've idolized. I want to be better than. So not that I think that I am, but what's the point of making a record where I think that I want, because I think mediocrity is the most awful thing on earth. I don't want to settle for mediocrity. As I've said to you before, I put everything in, financially, spiritually, emotionally, musically, creatively, I can into this next record. I'm working with a little producer called Ron Fair, who's been nominated 20 odd times for Grammys and discovered Christina Aguilera. Is one of his first soundtracks was the Pretty Woman soundtrack. His very first gold record was the Rocky soundtrack. He's discovered, made hit records for Mary J, Black Eyed Peas, U2, Lady Gaga. The list is endless, and for him to tell me this is the record of his life, it just gives you butterflies. It truly gives you butterflies.